Okay, so there is an idiom that says imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. And up until fairly recently, I always hated it. Because I always took imitation as just a lazy attempt to cash in on another's work. For example, The Hunger Games. Take the short story The Lottery, and mix in the Japanese cult classic Battle Royale, and magically you have a blockbuster on your hands. It took me years before I finally even gave it a chance because of being too aware of its influences. Well, I played Harvest Moon 20 years ago. What makes Stardew Valley so special? Ask me this a few years ago, and I would have said nothing. Just some minor quality of life updates, and a few more minor additions to gameplay. And cynical past me was kinda right. Stardew Valley is just Harvest Moon with some light combat. Stardew Valley is just Harvest Moon with crafting. Stardew is just Harvest with cooking, and being able to raise a few different animals or crop types. So what made Stardew Valley the blockbuster it was, compared to Harvest Moon, which is lucky to crack a top 50 SNES games list? Honest answer? Time. Those 20 years were enough time for Concerned Ape to have enough outside influence making his game to do everything just a little bit better. That's enough time to see what at its core is fun, while seeing what gameplay options could be added to improve on that model. So much like his influence, Stardew Valley starts as a farming simulator, where our young protagonist inherits from their late grandfather a farm that has fallen into disrepair. From there, it quickly falls on you to figure out what to work on. And while there is definitely the option to keep it simple and spend your days growing crops, there are many other activities to fill your time on. There's fishing, mining, foraging, questing, collecting resources. Simply put, you do you. When I started, I wanted to do everything, but I soon found out there just wasn't enough time. I had to start setting up routines every day for what I wanted to concentrate on, so I could decide what to do with the time left. And spoiler alert, there never was enough time left. I would cleverly try to combine tasks when I could to save time, like multiple stops in town, just to fail remembering to stop by the store because I had to spit game at Penny, or forgetting to bring the resources with me to buy upgrades. I would then be forced into a predicament. Wait until tomorrow to try again, or lose time I wanted to spend working on something else to backtrack and finish this task. You have an energy bar for how much exertion you can output per day, which will largely refill after sleeping, or you will have plenty of consumable options to partially refill it. The trade-off is that anything you eat can't be sold for money. And that is actually what the entire theme of the game is, trade-off. Want to get some fishing in that day? You're probably not going to have enough energy to cut down trees. Trying to forage for a specific item? Traveling across the map is going to eat up most of the day, and isn't going to leave much time for completing mining levels. You will actively have to make choices with what time and energy you have left, and I found myself falling short of everything I wanted to work on. Then there was inventory space. My mortal enemy. Even after unlocking the backpack upgrades, I regularly found myself full and having to make the tough decision of how important to keep each item was, or if I had time to go back to storage or the shipping bin to clear things out. And while I really liked the idea of the quality rating for things, like crops or fish, each quality level of the same item took up separate inventory spaces. Also, did we really need 2 different egg colors? On top of different sizes and quality levels? Or how about the 4 different types of garbage found fishing? Maybe just a little overkill? Admittingly, combat was very much on the basic side. You have an attack and a defend. And really the only things that make combat sometimes feel on the difficult side is how sluggish your character controls. What did I expect from a farming simulator though? The change of pace heading into the mines keeps the game from getting too monotonous, and can actually be a welcome divergence from the daily chores. I also hated the fishing minigame when I started. So many of the fish felt difficult to catch because of their overly exaggerated movements. But after getting a few levels into fishing, and the bar's size increasing, I actually started to enjoy it. This became my favorite way of making money, and I liked how you could guess what fish it was, just based on how it moved and bounced around. I really liked the idea behind the community center too, and found a lot of enjoyment trying to collect all the resources for unlocking the different rooms. Getting a small reward for finishing a bundle was also very motivating for trying to complete the entire room. My only complaint here was having to unlock one room before being able to complete another, like how you needed to unlock the bus first if you wanted to complete the fish tank. And the fact that unlocking the bus was literally just a gold sink felt like it was just there to act as what a gear check or level requirement would in other games. And in a game like Stardew Valley, where progression isn't linear, this felt out of place. So the first few hours of playtime was just comparing and contrasting Stardew Valley and Harvest Moon. And I have to say, even though I really liked Harvest back in the day, Stardew just does everything better. After that, my next couple hours were spent figuring out what part of the game to concentrate on. And while saying I was overwhelmed might be too strong of wording, I did constantly feel like I wasn't getting everything I wanted to done, and was getting a little discouraged. Then somehow, a few more hours turned into over 30 hours of game time, completing the first year, and leading to a few in real life nights of, wait, it is already that late? So if you are a chore simulator player, it really doesn't get much better than Stardew Valley. And if your organization is better than mine, and can prioritize which parts of the game you want to focus on, this game will easily keep you busy for many hours to come. Not bad for just Harvest Moon with a few quality of life updates. Thanks for watching.